Rain poured down in sheets, soaking through my dress, plastering my hair and my face, and freezing every inch of me. The thunder wasn't the worst part. My parents were, laughing, holding umbrellas over everyone but me. They had made me stand there, drenched, humiliated, at my sister's wedding. The bridesmaids whispered, the guests stared, and I could feel every drop like an insult. But worse than the rain, the groom, my sister's perfect, smiling groom, pretending not to notice me shivering on the sidelines, as if my misery were invisible. My cheeks burned with humiliation, and with a fire that was about to become far more dangerous. I had been the good daughter my whole life, the one who never complained, who followed the rules, who smiled through every slight and snub. But the moment I realized my poor husband, my rock, had connections, influence, and a mind for strategy, I knew it was time to stop playing small. Revenge doesn't wait for permission. It strikes when the world thinks you're powerless. The wedding continued, laughter echoing over the rain. But I was already planning. Step 1, humiliation back, but subtle, surgical. Step 2, a lesson they'd never forget. My husband, quiet and unassuming at home, smiled when I whispered my plan. He knew exactly who needed to be reminded that actions have consequences. By the next morning, the first domino fell. The groom's carefully arranged day, the one they had spent months planning, unraveled. Contracts vanished, vendors canceled, and the big, expensive surprises disappeared as if swallowed by the earth. My sister's dream wedding? Crumbling. My parents panicked, calls flew, and they had no idea how or why. And all the while, I stayed calm, smiling politely as if I were merely an innocent bystander in the storm. Then the big move, my husband. Poor they thought he was, incapable of influence. Yet behind his mild-mannered facade was a mind that could orchestrate chaos with terrifying precision. He called the officiant, citing technicalities and conflict of interest that only someone in his position could enforce. The groom froze as he was told he couldn't proceed. Fired, in every meaningful sense. The guests gasped. My sister's face went pale. My parents' mouths opened and closed like fish, but nothing came out. I stood there, watching the chaos bloom, the rain from yesterday still clinging to my sleeves. The humiliation my parents had forced upon me had returned tenfold, and it was poetic, but I wasn't cruel. I wasn't mindless. Every move had been precise, calculated. They felt it, the sting of realizing that underestimating me, dismissing me, leaving me out in the storm had consequences far beyond the soaking. By evening, the wedding was over, technically, but nothing resembled the fairy tale they had imagined. Vendors walked off, the band refused to play, and the groom's pride, destroyed. My sister looked at me with disbelief, but there was nothing left to say. My parents, still dripping from yesterday's rain and today's shame, finally understood. I wasn't the powerless child they thought I was. I was the storm they ignored, the consequence they never expected. And my husband? Calm as ever. He took my hand, kissed my wet cheek, and whispered, "You don't have a sin in the rain anymore." I smiled, knowing every humiliating moment from yesterday had paved the way for this perfect victory. Revenge, I realized, wasn't about anger. It was about timing, precision, and making the world remember that you are not to be ignored. By nightfall, the rain had stopped, but the memory of it, and of their mistakes, would linger far longer. I left the wedding with my dignity intact, my husband at my side, and my parents forever aware that their attempts to humiliate me had only made me unstoppable. Sometimes, storms aren't meant to punish you. They're meant to prepare you for the moment you finally strike back. And strike back I did.